Hello everyone, welcome to the very first episode of Snap Aim Podcast. I want to start this by prefacing that Crew, my guest today, had some internet issues, which is why his audio sounded warbly at times, and I'm very sorry about the audio quality, but unfortunately there was nothing we could do about it. But the next episode, everything should be ironed out, so yeah, thank you for listening, and here's episode 1. Okay, so we are starting the first episode ever. Welcome to episode 1 of Snap Aim Podcast. My name is Stella Chung. I am your host. You may have seen me on things like IGN, ALGS, casting for Esports for Apex Legends, or even Halo tournaments on Esports Arena, so I've kind of been everywhere. But hello, it is nice to see everyone here. We do record this live on Twitch every Sunday at 1 p.m. PST. If that changes from week to week, I will definitely let y'all know. But yeah, welcome. This is the podcast, and for today, I have a very special guest. His name is Crusader. He's a very awesome content creator and friend. And hi, welcome, Crew. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Crusader. You could call me Crew for short, and I'm currently an athletics manager at Team Liquid. I'm pretty sure it's no secret what's been going on. If you've been keeping up with Apex Legends esports, a lot has happened this past week with the Apex Legends team. So I guess it's more appropriate for me to say I'm just an athletics manager.
Yeah. Well, so. what was the title before? I think it was manager, right? Or it was something different.
Specifically, I was the athletics team manager for the Apex Legends roster. So, but now I'm just an athletics manager without necessarily a team to manage right now. Yeah. So it's a weird state of limbo. So, yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing okay with all of that? I wasn't aware that your title had also changed with everything, and I'm hoping that you're okay and stable.
For now, I'm okay. I can't say what's gonna happen in the future, and that's because I'm not sure. But yeah. We're still working on things internally to hopefully have some good news.
Yeah,
that's sure. As much as I can say.
Yeah. Thank you for being on. Again, I keep saying this, but thank you so much. I know it was last minute, and also there's a lot going on, so I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I was like, I think I saw your tweet come across my timeline, and I was like, wait a minute. I originally was planning on doing this by myself, but I was like, oh, I think it might be nice to have someone else on. And I was like, wait a minute. Crew, why not? I see him on my timeline. We can talk about the Apex Iron sites for sure. And actually, have you been able to play the Modern Warfare 2 beta at all?
No, I couldn't get early access to that, unfortunately. And I wasn't really too excited and keen on playing it because I'm just so burnt out of the Call of Duty formula. But of course, I'm going to try it eventually.
Yeah, no, honestly, I get that. I think the last title that released, which was, oh my God.
Vanguard.
Vanguard, yes. I played it and I was like, I'm not super into this. Like, the campaign didn't pull me in. Multiplayer felt really weird. Like, it felt so fast. And I was like, listen, I love fast-paced FPS games, but like something about it just did not sit right with, like, the time to kill just didn't feel good.
I didn't play it. The last one I played was Cold War. I had a little fun of that, and I didn't even get to play the zombies mode in that because they changed the formula to where it ended. Like, I don't know. I'm a very stubborn person when it comes to a lot of these games where I'm just don't change it for me, because I used to love playing zombies. I used to go for world records in zombies, and then now it's just this weird. It's really story driven, really heavily story driven, as if you're playing a campaign mission, which is cool. It's fine if you want to mix up the formula, but I am just not a fan, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind the story thing, but I definitely didn't understand it, because for previous Black Ops zombies modes, you had to like really dig, you had to get Easter eggs and stuff to really understand the story. So then having that kind of just be up there, I'm just like, wait, who is this person? Wasn't this person supposed to be dead technically? And like, I don't know what happened previously. So there was a lot of that like scrambling around. I liked the open, quote unquote, open world zombies mode, but it definitely got really exhausting after a few rounds. You're just like, I just want the round based stuff back. Like that was really fun.
Yeah, so my little sister, she loves playing Call of Duty on the Xbox. So, and she always plays it in the living room. Like they're not allowed to have their consoles in their rooms. So like you know, they're still like 14 and 18. But yeah, I would always walk past the living room. I would see my little sister playing the zombies mode in Cold War, and she's like driving around in like open streets, going in buildings. I would think she's playing Warzone, but no, I see zombies. I'm like, wait, is this Warzone? Is this zombies? Like, what is going on in this? This is not the zombies I grew up with. So no, I think I'll pass. The one cool thing that I did see is that there was some giant zombie that was chasing her, and you actually had to kill it. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I do remember like there were variants, which is kind of funny. And it was really cool because there were like bosses, which I was like, okay, I can get behind this. But you know, you had to do so much stuff just to get to the boss Easter egg trigger that like once you did get there, you're like, I'm gonna die. Like all the zombies are just leveled up so much because we've gotten so many rounds. So going back to Modern Warfare 2, I did get to play it. It's PS5 only, which for right now, which sucks. But like the next one, I mean, the next beta is going to be opening up for PC, Xbox, like everyone else, which is kind of nice. Like it's, but the thing is, like PS5 got the exclusive this weekend, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not used to playing shooters on controller, so that kind of sucked. But I really liked the beta so far because I really liked Modern Warfare before Cold War. Which I was really sad that we had to switch over to because I got so used to Modern Warfare in 2019. I was like, man, I really like the multiplayer mode in Modern Warfare. I don't want to go and relearn a whole new game, but it feels good. Like it feels like we're going back to that. Did you get to play Modern Warfare in 2019, Crew?
Yes, I did. I actually had fun with that for a little while, but like I said, I'm kind of burnt out on the whole Call of Duty formula. Warzone was cool, but I was just not a fan of the time to kill and how it plays out. So I kind of moved on from that quickly. But I did have fun when I first played it. That was probably the last time I had legitimate fun with Call of Duty.
Yeah, honestly, probably same. Like Cold War was fun. I did really like the God, what is it called? Gunfight, where it's like the 2v2. I love that. It felt really sweaty, and I was like, oh man, imagine if Apex had something like this. I would be totally into it. But
man, I have a story about that.
Oh yeah, wait, what you got?
It was literally the first day the game came out. I'm streaming it. I'm playing. I think that was the first COD to introduce like crossplay, right?
Yeah.
So I was playing with that game mode you're talking about, Gunfight, where it's 2v2, and I was playing that game mode with one of my console friends, and then how you hear the audio when you kill someone.
Yes, like, the death comms.
I'm never going to forget this moment. On the very first day I'm playing the game, I kill someone, and then all I hear is, "I'm eating Chipotle." And I'm just like, what?
Oh my God.
Does that have to do with anything?
That's amazing.
Okay, I hope it's good.
Yeah. Okay, I guess he was enjoying himself so much that he was just eating dinner. Like
it was just so random and just out of the blue. I'm like, I'm eating Chipotle.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know what? I think honestly, I know it would get really toxic really fast, but the death comms in Warzone and Call of Duty have been so funny. Like, I genuinely enjoy them so fucking much. It is so fucking funny to hear someone just like rage, or clearly hear someone who's really high just go, what? Where did that come from?
And I'm going to be honest, that's probably the one thing that is pulling me towards Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 is the proximity chat.
Yeah.
When you get close to someone in Warzone. And I know it's a thing that pretty much started from like H1Z1 and like other like, games like Rust and other survival games, but they kind of like toned it down and it eventually just dried out from more like open world BRs or whatever kind of games like that. But I'm so glad that Modern Warfare 2 is bringing it back. I don't know if anybody plays the game The Cycle. It's like a Tarkov like game, but they also have proximity chat, and it it is the best thing ever. And like proximity chat alone will instantly make me interested in your game because I love those type of interactions. Toxic, wholesome, it doesn't matter. I love it. I'm here for it. It's content, and
Yeah.
I love it.
Honestly, it's nice because like you have the option to turn it off too and not like participate, which is, you know, like if you don't want to, you can do that too. So for those of you who are not aware of what proximity chat is, just in case, proximity chat is when you can, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, but like when someone's close to you, you can kind of hear them, right? So it's kind of like the, if you've played Among Us, there's that mod where you can use proximity chat as opposed to like everyone muting and then unmuting when they go into the meeting room or whatever. So you can hear people near you, and of course their volume will change the closer they get to you, so it'll be really funny. I think having that in Warzone is going to be really, really funny, actually.
Yeah, and I'm excited to play, and I will definitely give it a try as long as Activision or whoever is developing this game this year is not making the game the size of an entire hard drive.
Oh my god. Okay. Do you also get so fucking annoyed with the amount of like shaders you have to download every time you you launch the game?
Yeah, and another reason why I was turned away from the game, it's like, what is this? Like, why do I have to install this every single time I launch?
Yeah, it's
Please,
so frustrating. I've noticed that Apex is starting to do that too, although the shaders aren't as egregious as it was in like Warzone or, you know, Vanguard. I'm just like, okay, I see it. This better be all it is, because I swear to God, if I have to sit here for 5 minutes waiting for shaders to install before I can play anything, I'm going to be really annoyed.
I'm not sure how it works in Apex because just 1 week, it just randomly started to do it every time I launched.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's not as egregious as Warzone, but it definitely was strange because 1 week it'll do it every time I launch, and next week it's just, okay, no, you're good, no need. Like I'm really confused on how it works in Warzone, or not Warzone, Apex. I don't know if it's like a Steam thing or an Origin thing. Like if you launch on Origin, then it needs to update on Steam, something, I don't know. But still, it's still weird that that's the case. I hope they figured that out for Warzone 2. I really hope they iron out the kinks, because I wouldn't mind playing Warzone 2. I wouldn't mind just having some little comp for Apex, having a little competition, because as of right now, Apex is the only BR that holds my attention.
Yeah, same. I was explaining this to people when I was playing the beta. I was like, yeah, like I really enjoy it. Obviously, it's really hard for me to get full read on it because I'm playing on the PS5 on a controller that I don't usually play with for FPSs. So when it comes to PC, the open beta next weekend, I feel like I can get a better grasp on it. But it makes me happy to feel like I can play a team deathmatch game and, you know, just get in and out of fights and stuff. And like, if I die, I come back, I can just play, which is kind of what I miss from control mode in Apex, because you could kind of use that as like a warm up, or you could just play that and just vibe out. But instead now we have Apex pubs or ranked, which all kind of feel similarly competitive right now.
And it's not on the most desirable map right now.
No.
It's, yeah. Yeah, this season of Apex is pretty rough for me right now, and it's unfortunate because I genuinely love Vantage, and it just doesn't work out for her on like how this game is played with the maps and rotation at the moment. Makes me pretty sad.
Yeah, so dude, I love Vantage so much. Hitting her snipes feels so freaking good, and her movement is so nice too. Ugh, I love it so much. But like, Kings Canyon is such a sniper fest right now. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, which is why it's so satisfying to get those kills with Vantage, where someone will have a Kraber, they'll body shot you, hit you for like 145, 180 or whatever, but you know, you just come back with Vantage, tap them twice in the head, and they're dead. Or you know, you just kind of humble them for a second.
Oh yeah, it's so nice. But I think the most frustrating thing is like, even if you down them though, you have to try and expend more ammo to try and kill them on the spot. Otherwise you're not going to be able to get that kill, because King Canyon, like, everyone sleeps in and sometimes you get lost in the fight. So other people start fighting around that team and you're not able to secure that kill. And it kind of repeats the process with like not getting KP, and it's so frustrating.
Well, personally, how I look at it, I can think of so many situations just from being in platinum rank alone where I'm playing Vantage and I'm in that scenario that you just described, where I knock someone but I have to expend more ammo to get the thirst. Usually you won't have that ammo if you're playing Vantage if you got the knock, because it takes around two to three bullets to kill, and you only have a total of 5. And they're more than likely going to be holding up their knockdown shield. But how I personally look at it, and the satisfaction I get from it, is I made you waste your healing items, I made you waste your shield batteries, and I humbled you, even though you're using a charge rifle or a Kraber.
Okay, but to be fair, I use a charge rifle on King's Canyon because I feel like you have to have one. Otherwise, you're going to get down by a charge rifle. So it's like, I'd rather be on the offensive. So
You know, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, or you just die.
I know,
To King's Canyon.
Oh my god. Well, I guess we are moving on to Apex here because, like, I mean, that is our main game. So we recently saw some news this week about the iron sights getting changed on the flatline, which if you play Apex, you know that there was a skin on the flatline that I believe was a battle pass exclusive that actually made the flatline iron sights bearable, right? And I have that skin. I love it so much. It's a reactive one too, which is great. But they recently decided to change it. And if you're watching on YouTube, which I have the B-roll up of the actual change, so you can see here, the skin comes up around it, but then with the change, the iron sights actually poke up above the skin, and the skin has been like removed so that the sides aren't as what is it called, like thick around it anymore, which sucks. So I don't know. As someone who worked with a team crew, I'm very curious. How do you feel about these changes? How do you feel about them adhering to like competitive standards?
Oof. It's a tough one. It's personally, I don't like it. I think that's really obvious for anybody who was a fan of the preferable iron sights on guns like the Flatline or R99 or Wingman or Peacekeeper. It's tough to say, but you cannot deny their reasoning behind it. And what it really boils down to is they want people to pick up things like the optics in the game, whether it be the 1x, 2x, or 1 to 2x, 3x, or whatever. It makes sense, but at the same time, you know, when we're in an environment like King's Canyon where we are right now, and for me, once again, King's Canyon is a really rough map for me, and I struggle finding loot, even though the loot was apparently improved this time around. I really have a hard time finding things like optics, finding things like more magnification than a 1x. Sometimes it's harder to find things over a 2x. It's really difficult. So as a player, you would definitely want things that would be to make your experience a lot better, even when you don't have your desired loot. But at the same time, it's like from a developer standpoint, I get it. You have to make the loot desirable, or you have to force players to want to pick up the loot, and which is why they made those changes. But it does suck. So I'm kind of in the in-between. I do prefer that they make all default iron sights across the board a little bit more bearable to see through, to view, but it's at the end of the day, it makes sense. Their reasoning is solid, and at the end of the day, they're gonna do what they think is best for the game, even if we do not like it. And sometimes it's hard to admit that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we live in an age where everyone can go to Twitter and tweet every grievance they have, right? They have this platform where you can say anything you want to your heart's content, right? And it's always so funny to, like, of course, I have my own grievances with like a game that I love so much, Apex, right? Or even like Halo Infinite, but that doesn't mean that I want the devs to like actually take my ideas into fruition, because like I don't know what the fuck I can do to make a game better. Like, I am not a game developer. I don't know all the intricacies that go into that. Like, I have no idea what it takes to build a game. And I know that there's so much in, like, if you try to fix something, it could break. And I don't want to be that person to be like, yeah, well, this is so easy, you could just do this. And it's like, I think a lot of people forget that, and you definitely don't, because you're very like, well, I could see them doing this, but at the same time, I also understand why they didn't. So it does suck that the iron sights are getting changed, but I hope it is like across the board at least, so not one gun has like an advantage over the others. So it all stays even across the board.
So to my knowledge, I only skimmed through that post that Respawn made about the iron sight changes on the flatline. I don't know if they're only touching the flat line at the moment. I don't know if their plans are to touch things like the R99 or Wingman or the Peacekeeper.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but the very thin Peacekeeper skins, like those really cowboy looking
Yes.
I don't know what it is about that skin, because I don't feel like there's a difference in iron sights, but I just go crazy with those skins, and I own none of them. For the 3 years I've been playing this game, I own 0 of those cowboy Peacekeeper skins, and I'm like, ah!
Crew, come on, you gotta just craft it. I guarantee you have the materials.
I can also buy it, but I don't want to do that. I'm petty.
Oh my god! All right, fine. I get it. I finally caved and I crafted the Galaxy sheriff looking PK skin, and it is beautiful. But like, you know, it was mostly for the iron sight. Yeah, I was petty until I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I can't deal with it anymore.
But that's the thing with me. I genuinely do like the reactive skin for the Peacekeeper. That was what, season 3, I think. I don't see a difference between that skin and like those sheriff looking skins. Like, I personally don't see it, and I'm not saying that's subjective. I'm probably just blind. I'm probably just stupid or something. I don't know, but I don't feel like that. Like, there's pay to win skins on the Peacekeeper, but I always notice that, like, yo, what is it about this skinny ass sheriff Peacekeeper that makes me hit my shots so much more consistently? It has to be the fact that it's skinny, and maybe I always just thought it was a placebo. I genuinely always boiled it down to that, but maybe there is something to it when I saw Twitter talking about the Peacekeeper pay to win skins. I'm like, oh, is there really pay to win skins? Is that the case? Oh.
I mean, it could also, yeah, it could be a mental thing, right? Like, I mean, that's like how people always say, oh, I feel like with Jibby and Caustic, I feel like I'm slower Legend. But it's just the animation that makes you feel that way, right?
Definitely.
So there could definitely be something mental, like a mental game in there. But I mean, at the same time, like the R9 skin that I love so much that is reactive from the Battle Pass, like that definitely has a clear, better iron sight than the normal iron sight. And God, as much as I hate to see it go, if they were to fix the iron sights to look even across the board, I'd be fine with that, because then that means like no one gets an advantage, and that's okay. Like, I get that. But again, yeah, I don't know if they specified whether or not it's going to be just the flatline or other skins coming into play. They did specify the Flatline Revelation skin from the Gaiden event. And they did the VK-47 Flatline rifle for the Heatsink reactive skin. So that is the Battle Pass one. So I think it's just those two currently. But it is curious that those are the two skins that they chose to fix, as opposed to the R9 skin, which like there's a clear difference in those two skins.
I'm not too surprised that they chose the flatline skin. I can understand the from the anime event. I understand that flatline skin, which I think is amazing, by the way. Let me just say, I think that is the best flatline skin to ever release. I like it more than the heatsink, but those iron sights are definitely rough to deal with. But the Battle Pass reactive flatline skin has definitely been a major talking point for pay to win skins for a very long time. So I guess they just chose by popular demand, quote unquote. So who knows what they might touch next, if they plan to touch anything next. But I'm hoping it's something in our favor of better iron sights and not more obstructed view. So
yeah. Oh my God. There's one EVA 8 skin, which I know most people aren't ADSing with the EVA 8 anyways, but like when you do, it's like that dragon skin. It's really pretty, but when you zoom in, you just get a face full of dragon. It's awful. Like,
there's a RE45 skin that's like that too, where the outsides of the gun, like the outer shell of the gun, it's just so much more thick, and it's just like, it obstructs so much more of your peripheral, and I was like, I don't like that skin. It looks cool, but it's ugh.
I'm pretty sure I know which one you're talking about, because I've also witnessed it, and I immediately changed the skin on it. So speaking of guns in Apex, there's the new limited time mode and event coming out on Tuesday, and it has gun game in Apex. How do you feel about it?
It's about goddamn time. Like, that's all I can say. It's about time.
I'm so excited. I am really curious to see how that's gonna work. Obviously, we're gonna like respawn and stuff, which is great. Like, and I was literally just talking about how great it is that, you know, Modern Warfare is coming out, because now we get a game where we can like respawn and come back and warm up. But this is like the best warm up thing ever. And I understand that Respawn, they put out limited time modes to keep things fresh and everything, but I'm just like, I know Apex is a battle royale, but I also know that they've been wanting to expand outside of that, which is why they focused on arenas. And I'm like, why don't you bring some of these limited time modes permanently? Because this would be a great warm up mode. Are you kidding me?
I agree, and I feel strongly about arenas because there have been several seasons to where I've tried to grind Masters Predator in arenas, but I just can't, because it's just, there's always some cheesy meta that's going on, or the matchmaking is just horrendous. And I'm never gonna forget the matchmaking where you it was like, I think it was the first or second season of arenas where you would gain only like 12 points, but you would lose like 300 if you lost something. I was Diamond 2 that specific season, and it was rough. And it's just, every season that I've played arenas, it hasn't been fun. It hasn't been fun to grind. Even playing players that's better than me, it's not fun because the matchmaking is so lopsided. Because I remember asking teammates while I was in Diamond, I was like, "Hey, what do you guys rank?" "Oh, I'm silver, bronze." I was like,
"How?
I'm in Diamond. I'm playing against Diamond players. Why?
Yeah.
Why is this happening?" And I know the developers know this is a thing that's happening, but not much changes come about with arenas for a long time. There hasn't been much changes to arenas aside from like prices adjustments and maybe some changes to the arena maps if that happens. But at this point, I really do feel like arenas is the neglected stepchild of Apex, and I think it's time to move on from it, because I think the general consensus of the community is that it's not a fun game mode, and it is undoubtedly there for the console gamers who much prefer to play straight up 3v3s instead of playing BR over and over and over again, which I can understand. I get that, but I'm also very confident that the console gamers who want a game mode to where that they can just have an even battleground, I think gun game would be way better than what we have for arenas, and I also believe control would be better. Team deathmatch, of course, everybody wants a team deathmatch, but as of right now, I'm not saying that arenas is bad and needs to be removed because I just don't like arenas. I just don't think that it's conducive to competitive integrity right now.
Yeah.
There's, like I said, there's always some cheesy meta that is never addressed. There's always the matchmaking is just way too unbalanced, and there's no talk about it. Nothing has been addressed about arenas. So it's like, hey, let's just make something a little bit more fun that would still appeal to the players who just want a fair battleground where it's just straight up 3v3, 4v4, 5v5. Like, and I think gun game can do that, and team deathmatch can do that, or control can do that.
Yeah, I think that's why I think people definitely felt that way when Control came out, because they were like, wait a minute, this is like the better arenas. This could totally replace arenas, because they actually wanted to play it as opposed to arenas where I understand their vision of it, and when I first heard the concept, I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is what people wanted. But then as soon as you start playing it, you're like, wait, this is not really what I expected. And actually last night I was playing Valorant, 2 nights ago I was playing Valorant, and I realized, I was like, okay, I suck at this game. Like, I'm ass at it, but I get it. Like, it works, right? Whatever the formula they have down works. And I think that maybe if Apex did take a look at Valorant or even like CSGO to see how an arena shooter like that should work, like a team-based shooter, I feel like they could maybe build off of that. But I understand they also have something set, and it's really hard to move away from that. But also, I wouldn't mind if they completely decided to redo arenas and try to fix it so that people actually wanted to play it and played it well. Because they did try a lot of things with arenas. I mean, that was the first place that they tried, demotion in ranks for arena ranked before they brought it to ranked battle royale. So they are doing things, but I feel like they're almost using arenas as like a testing grounds, and it should be more than that, if it's going to be a supported game mode.
You made me think of something just now that popped in my head, and it comes from our little Warzone discussion.
Yeah.
So I did see on Twitter from a lot of the creators that attended the Call of Duty event on how the new Gulag system works, where it's no longer you get thrown in and they give you a random gun. It's you get thrown in, there's random guns on the floor, and you just kind of have to pick it up like BR style. Like it's like dropping in, finding whatever gun you find first, and then you're kind of just stuck with that until you get something better. So that's how the new Gulag works, and you get a teammate, which is cool. I personally believe that they need to just completely scrap this CS:GO Valorant buy system, because it's really not as in depth as it is, and a lot of people do not spread their wings across the entire arsenal of Apex. It's as of right now, it is only Mozambiques, Wingmans, and SMGs. And if you're trying to like really clutch up a win, or really try hard, maybe some snipers, maybe they'll buy a PK. But something that's really oppressive in arenas is like a 3-stack that's all using Mozambiques, a 3-stack that's all using Wingmans, and or maybe a 3-stack that's all using controllers that are really just demons at it. There's not much you can do against that, even if you're playing well. Like it's like fighting 3 Gildersons. It's impossible. It's really difficult, and I really think that they should scrap the whole buy system from arenas and just give it 5 random guns, like 5 random guns spread out in the little lobby that you spawn in.
Yeah.
Just give 5 random guns. People pick up whatever they want. People get to whatever they get to first. You know, finders keepers, losers weepers. Someone called dibs and they take it. Just completely scrap that, and I think that would be way more skill than anything else. Like, I'm not saying 5 random guns on one team and 5 random guns on the other team. Like, everybody all gets the same 5 guns. Like, let's say everybody gets a P20, an R301, a flatline, a peacekeeper, and maybe a hemlock or something.
Yeah.
Both teams have those options. Now it's just like, who's the better shot? Who can use their Legends abilities better? Who can use teamwork better? I'm just over this whole buy system because no one really uses it, and I also think we should spawn with batteries. Personally, think we should spawn with batteries because it's ugh. Yeah, and I can go on forever about arenas, and I don't want to do that.
Oh no, that's why we're here. We love talking about games that we like talking about. Oh no, how dare you? Yeah, I mean, arenas, like, I think they just never got the buy system down right. When I realized, like, I remember playing, before launch, and they were like, yeah, you have to buy your weapons every time. I was like, what? It doesn't carry over if you win? That feels a little weird. And I understand they have their like system set for it, but like it does feel a little weird. It feels like they've never been able to get the balance down right. And it does suck, because I remember when the RA45, because you could level it up really quickly and you could get the hammer points. That's what anyone and everyone was running in arenas. And I was like, this is really not fun. I'm getting destroyed by a freaking pistol. This is not how I expected my experience to go.
Yeah, it's like, why spend anything else when you can get the cheapest gun that does the most damage for the cheapest amount of money? And the buy system, really, like I said, it's not all that in depth. There's no economy management like there is in Valorant or CS:GO.
Yeah.
Like the little points that you get from getting the canisters mid round. It's not too much different. Like, maybe you'll be able to pick up 1 extra battery for the next round. Maybe you'll get that slight extra grenade. Maybe you'll get the extra upgrade. Maybe you'll go from blue to purple on that R99 that you wanted to use. But it's really not as significant as it seems to be. So I really think they should just completely scrap the system altogether and just work on something new. I really like my idea of just 5 random guns spawning. Or maybe 6. That way, everybody gets 2 guns, and everybody just has to kind of rush forward and just take what they want. And it's all like, I really don't think there's any skill in using a Mozambique because you bought it for cheap. And I'm one of those people. I got so sick of it, but I refused to use a Mozambique. So what I did is I started using Bangalore and using Digithread P2020 with hammer point.
No, you went You know what? I can't blame you. I also went on the hammer point thing because like it's what worked, so why not use it if you can buy it for cheap?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's God. Well, yeah, we could talk about arenas forever, which we probably should at some other point. But because I wanted it to do well, I wanted it to be a game mode that I played, but I'm like, you know, I would rather play Battle Royale, and that says a lot because, oh my God, it just does not feel good. But speaking of something that doesn't feel good, we're going to move into a little bit more of a serious topic, which I did talk to Crew about before, which is great because he was like, I thought you'd never ask it. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, we're going to get into this. So if y'all are part of the esports world or, you know, pay attention to anything or surrounding it, this happened in the league championship, one of the tournaments that happened outside of the US. I don't want to say his name, so I'm only going to say it once, but fucking Andrew Tate was seen at a G2 celebration party, and everyone was kind of surprised. Like, so this guy has been banned from socials, right? Like his TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter have all been banned. He's not allowed back on. And that's because he's just a huge piece of shit. Like he is the worst. Like he genuinely hates women, and he has the most toxic mindset I've ever seen. And he clearly needs help, but like, God, it sucks to see someone like him have such a big platform. Like I don't think he's been banned off Twitch, has he? Or YouTube?
I don't think he's been banned off Twitch because he just doesn't have an account yet. But I'm very confident if he even if he touches a second on Twitch, he's out of here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if Twitter and Instagram said no, I think that's a huge sign that he would not be allowed on Twitch. I know he was on someone's stream, but I don't know if he has his own account. Which honestly, whatever, great, because he's like the worst kind of person. He left the US because he was escaping charges against like sexual crimes, and also he's just known to be like a known abuser and manipulator, and he's just there's a lot that we could go in depth with this guy, but the G2 founder, he tweeted, was it yesterday? He tweeted yesterday, nobody will ever be able to police my friendships. I draw my line here. I party with whoever the fuck I want. It's just like, what? So apparently he has a history of not such great things, and I was not aware of this history. Like I didn't know this guy before, and I feel like I'm pretty new to esports, and I don't know if you have a better background on like Carlos or like, you know, G2, because they also just signed an all-female roster.
So my knowledge on esports is not too much broader than yours. Like I only know what, well, specifically for G2.
Yeah.
But I do know that G2's founder is very known for not taking criticism and known for not really listening to his community. A very similar situation to where G2 started doing NFTs. They did NFTs in like the most worst way possible too. It's like they did it like it was like a reward system. Like if you bought their NFTs and you get like signed merch or something like that or something. I don't know. It was like a reward system, but you had to pay for it. And there's so many other like organizations. It doesn't even have to be in esports. There's so many like rewards platforms or loyalty point systems that does this for free. But no, G2 decided to go into the NFT world because every company had to get into the NFT nonsense. And everybody was telling him like, you know, they don't like NFTs. Like, and if you know NFTs, you know, but he kind of didn't care. So he kind of just moved on. So yeah, that's Carlos. And I really was not surprised when he doubled down on the criticism of saying, hey, why are you with Andrew Tate? You know, he's kind of a piece of shit. And there you go. Yeah, you're looking at the tweet on stream right now if you're watching on Twitch, but it's not a surprise. And I don't know where to go from here.
I know.
It just sucks. It's like it's so par for the course for like the esports industry, and it really sucks to say.
Yeah. So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, I was just saying it's just how it is.
Yeah. So this tweet was the first one that he tweeted after that video went viral and got a lot of backlash. And then he tweeted today at 7 a.m. bright and early. Many G2 fans were let down this weekend, which created confusion about what I stand for. It has always been my consistent target to stand for absolute equality of opportunity, regardless of who you are or where you come from, which is what gaming is about. Then he followed up with another tweet. Make no mistakes, my life was full of learnings, and I had my fair share of situations I got into in the past. I failed to read this room right, feel terrible about the discussions it created, and will stand up and accept the consequences in full. This is not an apology. That is not an apology. That is him firmly standing by what he said and just trying to negate the damage a little bit.
And it's very obvious that was a kind of a forced move by whatever PR team told him to do that. Or,
oh yeah,
it's not an apology. There's no acknowledgement of what his staff, which apparently a lot of, has come forward and shown his support for it. It's like, there's one thing if there's just poor leadership, and then there's another who's just blindly following that poor leadership. It's like a Starbucks manager, but the Starbucks employees are just really happy to be under shitty work conditions. It's like it's really weird. And he like I said, he's known for not taking criticism well. I don't know if a lot of people notice, but I took a look at his page, and he removed his bio only to put a laughing emoji with the tears coming out the eyes in his bio, and that was it. So you can tell there was no accountability. You can tell that he's just going to get whatever his suspension was or whatever his consequences was or his punishment. This is really nothing to him. This is just another day at the office where he's just going to kind of just rake in his money and just move on. It really, really sucks.
It's really frustrating. So, yeah, he had to do that because he had to release some sort of statement, because G2 came out 19 minutes after he put that first tweet out about like his so-called like explanation or whatever. They came out with this tweet that said, "Hey G2 Army, last night we failed you. The actions of our CEO spoke a language in stark contrast with the values and the culture G2 lives by and strives for, and for that we apologize. Since our creation, we have worked hard to build a safe and inclusive environment to enjoy esports. These are just small steps in the right direction we need to take as a company. We'll continue to do our best each and every day to improve ourselves and the industry at large. After internal discussion, Carlos and our supervisory board have mutually agreed that he will take 8 weeks of leave as CEO and suspend his earnings during that time. Thank you to the G2 Army and the esports community for holding us accountable, G2 Esports."
Go ahead.
I was going to say, my initial reactions are this seems like a tiny band-aid, because I mean 8 weeks of leave as CEO and suspended earnings don't mean a whole lot.
Yeah. 2 months of suspended earnings from a CEO's perspective, that's not much of a punishment. And there's obviously no talks of learning of why the community is upset. There's no talks of like trying to understand where the community is coming from and what the community of G2 means to G2. And I think G2 really fails to understand. And once again, it's one thing if it's poor leadership, and there's one thing to follow that poor leadership willingly. But I don't think G2 is an organization that understands that like it is your community that makes your organization what it is. And once people just lose faith in you, yeah, it doesn't matter what investors you have, what sponsors, partners, that all goes away if you don't have your community by your side. There's a lot of orgs that really do focus on the community aspect of esports and content creation, whether they're big or small. But I'm really seeing right now from this quote unquote apology from G2 that they're really not community focused. They're really not taking into consideration about the women who support them that are probably really hurt by this. To see someone like, Mr. Potate in their leaders like, circle, that's just really hurtful
Yeah,
to a lot of their women supporters.
Yeah, and especially following after seeing just how bad shit was at Activision Blizzard, right? Like, holy shit, are you kidding me? Like, it just goes to show you that culture is still around. And of course, like, so I immediately did not feel comfortable. I'm just like, if anything, like, I have to, so hold on, back it up. So I decided to take on the task of covering League Worlds and the championship, and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable being able to, like, having to go through and, like, work closely with G2 if they make it. Like, if I want to talk to them and I have to report the news, I'm not comfortable being alone with them. And it's like one of those things of like, oh, well, they didn't condone his actions. Yes, no, they didn't. But by being around him, being comfortable with him, and by defending them being around this guy, like, you are clearly sending a statement that you are okay with him and what he says and what he preaches. And he is not a great person. And that makes me feel like you're not a good person.
Yeah, and that's like the human morality of it. It's like, I personally cannot be around someone that does the things that who has done. Like, just being around you, knowing in the back of my head, like, oh, like, you're making me very uncomfortable. Like, you really did all that. And you could make the argument that, a person's past doesn't define them, but that's not this person's past. It's their current attitude and behavior and what they still practice to this day.
Yeah, and going back to G2's statement, they did say, let's see, was it G2? Yeah, G2. Since our creation, we have worked hard to build a safe and inclusive environment to enjoy esports. This does not tell me that you are wanting to make a safe and inclusive environment, especially since G2 just signed an all-female League of Legends roster. How the fuck... Do you think they feel comfortable with that guy around? No, absolutely not. He genuinely hates women. I don't know if you have heard him speak about women, but he talks about them like they aren't even human beings. And it absolutely disgusts me and it angers me that, like, he was given a platform with them. And it makes me so frustrated because, I mean, G2 in Apex, like, they've been pretty cool. They've been, up and coming, but it makes me upset to see this now because, like, I don't know what to think. It makes me feel very uncomfortable.
I've been trying to find their Twitters since yesterday, the women's G2 League team. I've been trying to find their Twitters to see if they made a statement, but I can't imagine what they're going through or what they're thinking right now, but it is definitely in stark contrast to what they're trying to accomplish, so they say. But I can't imagine, no matter what the league team is feeling or what they plan to do or how they plan to approach this, one thing that we know for sure is that there are a lot of G2 supporters that were let down, and like I said, that comes back to the community aspect of esports, which is a huge part of it that I don't think G2 really understands, and they're definitely feeling betrayed, and they're definitely feeling really uncomfortable supporting G2 right now, which I'm glad people are putting their morals above, like, numbers and clout, and just because, like, they have their favorite player on their team, which a lot of people do, surprisingly, and it's really bizarre, but a lot, because things like their favorite esports players on the team, or they play their favorite game, or they main their favorite champ, or they main their favorite legend, whoever, they kind of look past a lot of this. But I think for everybody that was a G2 fan, this kind of was a kind of a breaking point or a boiling point to just like, no, there's just no defending this. And I'm glad about that, because there's absolutely no defending someone like you know who.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying in any other situation where bad stuff happening in esports, it's okay to defend. But like,
No.
there's just no way. Like you can't defend this. There's no mental gymnastics that you can do.
Yeah, and there's no like sliding past it either. I mean, I didn't want to believe it. Like so the video came across my feed and I was like, no, that's not. And then I saw other people confirm it and I was like, ah, shit. And it's like, God, I'm so glad that to see so many of my peers shun the actions and call them out. It makes me very happy. Like, obviously that's not going, that it may not lead to anywhere, but it makes me happy that people are saying something about it. And Trevor Quickshot Henry, one of the shoutcasters in the LEC, which is the League of Legends European Championship shoutcaster, he said something about him, and so did his wife, speaking out against him. And it's pretty great, the fact that so many people in the industry, especially directly correlated with that event, like are speaking out about it. That's big. Like that is how you make shit happen. That is how you make people realize, hey, this stuff isn't going to fly anymore. Like we are actually trying to change the world of esports to be inclusive and open to everyone, like G2 says they tried to do. But like, they could try a little bit harder.
Yeah, and I really don't think the community really understands the power that they hold. Yeah. Like say for example, remember when the ALGS playoffs in Sweden, and originally EA wasn't going to cover any of the teams, only the top 5 teams that was going, and Twitter was very upset about that, and EA kind of just turned around and said, hey, okay, we'll cover everybody's flights and blah blah blah, which was awesome. And that kind of power is always within the community's disposal. Yeah. They always have that kind of power, and they can always use it for the right things at the right time. And I think this is one of them. And it would suck if it puts a lot of good people at G2, because I'm sure not everybody over there is bad. I hope so. But I would sure it would probably hurt a lot of people. But these type of things need to be done. There's a lot of poor leadership out there, which is why we're in the culture that we're in with esports today. Like we don't need people that refuse to take accountability. We don't need people who exhibits like really frat boy culture, like the whole Activision Blizzard thing. We don't need that in esports, and we need to make an active change. And if you are a fan of G2, or if you are a previous fan of G2, you have a lot more power than you realize than just unfollowing all their socials, just deleting your accounts off any like websites that they may have or anything. Like, it makes a huge impact, and it reflects, as a person who works in this industry, who knows what goes on internally in esports orgs, it makes a huge impact, and community is a huge part of it. And without community support, these esports orgs are literally nothing. So I hope you all take your time to, scream, shout until you cannot do it anymore. So please don't let up. Make your voice be heard, and let them know that this is unacceptable. And no sponsors, investors, or partners are gonna save Mr. Carlos from the backlash.
Yeah, I love that so much, and it is true. I mean, that's why it makes me happy to see so many people who do have such a big platform speaking out about this, because it's them using that, power respectfully for something good, and they are using their platform to speak about this, which, some people may. It's really funny. Like, I have realized that ever since I started working at IGN and I've gotten a bigger platform, I realized that if you say something that seems like it should be common knowledge, it's not to a lot of people. So that's constantly why I'm always like retweeting. Well, not always. I pick and choose the fuckers that decide to try and come at me at work, or like, on my socials. I decide when to showcase something that is still actively happening to women in the industry, especially in the gaming industry. And it's like, people are like, oh, you're still getting this? Like, I can't believe people still say this. And I'm like, yeah, it has never stopped. So for me, this is like a very personal thing, because if this keeps being allowed to happen, if this person keeps being allowed to like spread his, I don't know what the fuck you'd call it, like his toxic mindset everywhere. Like, there are impressionable people who will be like, oh yeah, you know what, this guy said it, so, and he's got a huge platform, must mean that, you know, he's right, I can do this and I can be okay for it. And it's like, no, that's not. And so that's where you come in, people speaking out about this, especially people who have bigger platforms being able to say something about it and stopping it, because it has been ongoing. It has not stopped. So it's very frustrating. And I didn't mean for my first episode of Snap Aim to be so spicy, but here we are.
Hey, that's what pulls in all the views, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, true.
Spicy topics.
Spicy topics and shitty men.
But yeah, there are really a lot of impressionable people out there that will see the big numbers and think like, oh, they're onto something, which is never the case. And which is why I really, really always encourage anybody, it doesn't matter the size of your platform, to always speak out against really shitty behavior, because you have no idea how many people are, once they see that they can't be comfortable saying these things, they're going to go back into hiding, which is not ultimately what we want. We want people to be better. We want people to just, you know, not be shitty human beings and learn why what they do is shitty. But I think we're in an era right now, technically we've kind of always been there, but we're more so in an era where, you know, racists, misogynists, and just bigotry is just a little bit too comfortable for a lot of people to just be open about it. You know, there was a time where people just had to actually hide that shit. They actually had to just, you know, closet their hatred. But now it's just kind of all over the place. And people are a little bit too empowered by that, and we kind of have to, you know, shut them down, kind of humble them, tell them to check themselves a little bit. You know, we gotta. That's a group effort, and you know, being silent about it is not going to do anything. So once again, I'm always going to keep saying it. I sound like a broken record, but the community for that you support, or whatever organization, whatever creator, whatever partners or sponsors, anybody, company, whoever, they do not have the power that you may think they do. It's definitely you.
Yeah. I look, I know representation matters, but in this case, if you're a racist, piece of shit, misogynist, no, does not matter. So fuck you. Ugh, okay, well, we are out of time, but thank you so much for joining me for the very first episode. I hope to have you on again. You know, obviously when things are a little less hectic over there, but you know, we're in this industry. Is it ever really less hectic? Like, honestly.
Sure. Yeah, but thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so I want to give you time to like promote anything that you're working on, like promote your streams, your socials, like where can people find you after this?
I don't really have anything special going on, but you know, you can find me at twitch.tv/Crusader when my internet decides to stop, you know, screwing me over, and maybe I can stream. I'm a variety caster. I play Apex, I play Final Fantasy 14. Been playing Metal Hellsinger lately because it just came out and it's an awesome game. But my internet's just been bad, so and the stuff at work is kind of keeping me occupied. But don't really have anything major going on right now. I will be at TwitchCon though, so
Yay!
Yeah, we'll be at TwitchCon if you want to see me out there. Go to a cat cafe. Like my girlfriend and another couple. My girlfriend and my friends are really excited about that.
Yeah,
I am too, low key. I've never been to a cat cafe.
Yeah, I saw the tweet and I was like, wait, there's a cat cafe? Oh, fuck yeah, we're going. Everybody,
they're going to get some good business. They're going to get some good business that weekend.
Dude, I might come away with a new cat. Like, shit, dude. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This was podcast Snap Aim episode 1 featuring Crusader. Thank you so much for joining me, y'all. I will be on later to play some more of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 beta on PS5, because I believe that the third person playlist is available now, which is, it's gonna be fucking weird. So yeah, well, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you all on the next episode. Bye.